Hello, and welcome to a new episode of NSPE's Committee Corner. I'm your host, Margaret Edwards, Policy Associate here at NSPE. For today's episode of Committee Corner, we have two goals. The first is to cover the House Appropriations T-HUD Subcommittee's Member Day hearing and to provide an overview of earmarks. The T-HUD Subcommittee is the Transportation, Housing, Urban Development, and Related Agencies Subcommittee. So you'll understand why I'm using T-HUD as the abbreviation, which I'll use throughout the remainder of today's episode. Before we talk about the Member Day hearing, let's just throw out some facts about the House Appropriations Committee. The House Appropriations Committee, under the leadership of Representative Rosa DeLauro, who serves as chair, and Representative Kate Granger, who's the ranking member, the committee is responsible for funding the federal government's essential programs and agencies. The committee is comprised of 33 Democrats and 26 Republicans, and they are organized into 12 individual subcommittees, which are listed here. Each subcommittee is responsible for one of the 12 appropriations bills each year. To learn more about the federal appropriations process, I encourage you to check out a previous episode of Committee Corner on that very topic. Fun fact that I enjoy about the House Appropriations Committee is that it was formed in 1865, and prior to its formation, the House Ways and Means Committee was responsible for the federal budget. So now to the T-HUD Subcommittee Member Day hearing. Just in general, Member Day hearings give members of the House who don't serve on a particular committee the opportunity to present topics that are relevant to their district to the presiding committee or subcommittee. So if I were a member of Congress, there's 435 of us, and I only maybe have 1 to 3 committee assignments. So this would give me an opportunity to go and present the needs of my constituents and the needs of my district to a committee that I might not sit on. And be involved in the day-to-day operations of whichever committee I'm appearing before. So this specific subcommittee hearing gave members the opportunity to be involved and provide input into the appropriations process, particularly as it relates to agencies and programs that fall under the jurisdiction of the T-HUD subcommittee. And so for this hearing, there were 12 members of Congress who appeared before the subcommittee. There are 8 Democrats and there were 4 Republicans. They spoke about a broad range of priorities as it relates to the committee's jurisdiction, with approximately 3/4 of the members speaking to some sort of transportation or infrastructure issue or need for their district. The reason that we were paying attention to this specific subcommittee hearing is that one, the full Appropriations Committee has not held their Members Day hearing yet. That is scheduled for June 9th. And 2, since the Department of Transportation is under the jurisdiction of this subcommittee, we wanted to pay attention and see if there were any programs that are being advocated for or funding opportunities that could impact the work of professional engineers or provide opportunities for professional engineers within, the authorization and appropriation of funds. And so, within this hearing, there were also members who advocated and pitched specific community project requests that they had submitted to the committee on a prior day. And so since I've introduced a new term of committee project requests, this gives us a really good opportunity to pivot to talking about earmarks. So I do want to note, earmarks are back this Congress. In the House of Representatives, earmarks were banned back in 2011. And so this is the first time that they are reappearing as part of the appropriations process. So earmarks are provisions that are inserted into discretionary spending appropriations bills by and requested by members of Congress that go back to specific projects within their district. In the House, earmarks are written right into the House rules. And, relating back to transportation, members of Congress will oftentimes request funds to be earmarked for projects found within their district or their state. You will see this Congress, we're going to see committees talking about earmarks in different ways. The House Appropriations Committee, which the T-HUD subcommittee is a part of, uses the phrase community projects to talk about earmarks. And the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, they're going to be using the phrase member designated projects whenever they talk about earmarks. And so there are opportunities for members of the House to request funds to go back to projects in their home district. And to request that as part of the appropriations project. There are rules that do dictate how one should apply for earmarks and what is actually eligible to be included as part of that application. So just some general earmark rules are, the written statement as part of the application must include the member's name, so who's applying for the earmark, the name and address of the intended earmark recipient. So whoever if we're going back to myself being a member of Congress, whoever back in my district is going to be receiving these funds for the designated project. The purpose of the earmark, how the money is actually going to be spent, and a certification that the member or member's spouse will not financially benefit or has no financial interest in the earmark if it were to be written into the appropriations bill. There is other criteria that committees do have the authority to request as part of the guidance and require whenever one does apply for an earmark. For example, the House Appropriations Committee, as well as the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, require the disclosure of requested earmarks on a public page within a member's public website. So you can go to your member of Congress's website, which in most cases is their last name, .house.gov. And if you want to check out who your member of Congress is, or you just need confirmation or a little reminder, you can find that information in the NSP Advocacy Center to see if they've requested an earmark. And then another criteria for earmarks, particularly within the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, is the expansion of that, lack of financial interest beyond just the member and the member's spouse to also include the member's immediate family. So I hope that has provided just a little glimpse into earmarks. If we had some more time, we could certainly, look at earmarks within the Senate and kind of see how that interesting dynamic within the earmark ban that is still in place within the Senate Republican Conference and how that's going to play out this appropriation cycle and in this Congress. But we don't particularly have the time for that today. So I hope this provides a little bit of a glimpse and of an overview into earmarks. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on the government relations team here at NSPE. So with that, we're going to conclude this week's episode of the Committee Corner. So please check back soon for our next episode, and you can find us in the NSPE Advocacy Center or on the NSPE YouTube page. Thanks, and we hope to have you join us next time.